bring in Mustafa Barghouti, who's in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. He is Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative. Given what we're hearing from Hamas, how likely do you think it is at this point that the truce will be extended?
Well, from the Palestinian side, there is no objection whatsoever to prolonging the truce. Not only that, we want complete and total ceasefire and to stop this Israeli aggression on Palestinian people, which has already killed more than 15,000 people. Probably this number can rise up to 22,000 once the people are removed from under the rubble, including 9,000 children. How many more children should die before we have a complete and total and prolonged ceasefire? That's from the Palestinian side, there is no problem. The issue is with Israeli side, and that's where the American administration has the obligation of forcing Israel to stop this aggression.
I mean, you say there's no problem. Obviously, we have heard certainly signs from Hamas that they are happy or they're keen to extend it for a day or 2 days to more than its current duration. What about turning it into a permanent ceasefire? Do you see that happening, given Benjamin Netanyahu visiting Gaza today, given some of the language he's used just today about continuing until victory?
Well, he can say what he wants, but today he was humiliated again because, as you've reported, the Hamas released the Israeli prisoners exactly in the city of Gaza, which is supposed to be under Israeli occupation. So I think he can say what he wants, but 3 Israeli taboos were broken. The first taboo was that there will be no exchange of prisoners, and he will release the Israeli prisoners only by force. He had to stop that, and he had to accept an exchange. Second, he used to say that there will be no ceasefire whatsoever, and he had to accept a temporary ceasefire so far. And third, he said his goal is to eliminate Hamas completely and resistance in Gaza. But now he's negotiating with Hamas and making deals with them. So his taboos are broken. And now I think there is a very good opportunity that we could have a movement from these temporary ceasefires to a complete and total ceasefire. And then maybe open the road for complete exchange of prisoners where all Israeli prisoners could come home and all Palestinian 8,000 prisoners could be released from jail.
What kinds of decisions do you think Hamas might be making in terms of how and which hostages to release? After all, the hostages seem to be the main leverage they have in terms of prolonging this ceasefire.
Well, they have more than 200, I think, left. And as you know, these 50 civilian Israeli prisoners who were released, part of whom were released the last 3 days, and part of whom will be released tomorrow, Hamas was ready to release them all in exchange for nothing, just if Israel had accepted a ceasefire. But Netanyahu refused that, and now he had to pay a price, which is the release of about 150 Palestinian prisoners, mostly children and women. I think that the prisoners' release is is the goal of this whole thing, and that's why I think Hamas is ready to release them all. But Israel has to release all prisoners. Many of the Israeli prisoners left now are soldiers and high-ranking officers in the Israeli army. And before Israel had to release more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 1 Israeli soldier. So if you're talking about hundreds, I think it is just fair to expect that all Palestinian prisoners should be released, including those who have been in Israeli jails for more than 40 years now.
All right, Mustafa Barghouti, thank you for joining us.
Thank